Hello, Ann Jessie here from the Elyria Arts Council. Today we are going to be making kind of a cool interactive face project. I call the project a face changer because I really don't have a better title for it. What you're going to need is some kind of rectangular paper. I am using 12 by 18, but if you have any size of rectangular paper, you can make this project work. You're going to need a ruler, a pencil, probably an eraser, and something to color your designs with if you wish to use color. Let me show you how to do it. Okay, so I've got a 12 by 18 sheet of paper here, and what I want to do is make it into a tri-fold sheet of paper. So folded in threes. So every 6 inches I'm going to make a line, since this is 18 inches. And what I'm going to do, just made a small pencil line. What I'm going to do is flip my paper over and make a nice up and down vertical fold that's straight with the edges at the top and the bottom, and look for that pencil mark on the other side and try again to make it nice and straight. Okay, so what I do is take that trifold paper and turn it so that I'm working with the 12-inch length. And then what I do is divide that into threes also. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. So there's a little math in this project. And I'm going to make some little dashes every 4 inches. And I'm going to make a very, very light pencil line on the outside flap. So this would be what I call my outside flap. All right, and then on my inside flap, I'm going to do the same thing. So every 4 inches, and I'm going to make a very light pencil line. I'm going to erase this pencil line later so that it doesn't interfere with my lovely designs that I'm going to put on it. So I really want you to do it lightly. Okay, so here's my light pencil lines. All right, oh, and I forgot to say you're going to need a pair of scissors. So now what you need to do is cut on those pencil lines that you just made. Inside flap and outside flap. So your center gets no cuts. So here you go. You've got a tri-fold piece of paper with 3 sections and 3 sections on the inner and outer flap. So what I'm going to do is erase just a little bit so it doesn't interfere with my design. One thing that's important is to get rid of that eraser rubber in the trash can because it'll interfere with your drawing. So make sure your surface is clean of little eraser flakes before you start to draw. And here's where you get to make lots of choices, and there are endless possibilities with this project. What you're going to do is make 3 different sets of facial expressions, and then you're going to be able to change what the face looks like, and there's going to be lots of possibilities here. So I am going to draw. I have some examples that I wanted to work with, and I'm going to draw with a Sharpie marker because I want you to be able to see it clearly. My suggestion to you is to use a pencil, draw lightly, so that if you make a mistake and you want to erase, you can do that. And then you can color your designs in or line them with a marker, colored pencil, crayon, whatever you're going to use. So let me start with some of these facial expressions that I want to. I'm going to start with, I always start with the eyes. And I want to fill this little flap up as much as possible. It's going to make it much more interesting. So and this black Sharpie marker is dying. So let's try and find another one. Oh yes, much better. And adding things like eyelashes and eyebrows can make your expression different. So I'm going to add eyebrows and eyelashes here. Try and make them the same. I'm going to go over, I can see that it's very faded from that dying Sharpie, so I'm going to go over my original lines. Add a few little lower eyelashes. And I'm going with kind of a cartoon style on this one. But I'm going to show you some examples. I really thought you could do a whole lot of different treatments to this. So I'm going to show you also some at the end that I did some different things to. So I'm going to give the eye kind of a shiny spot and color it in here. Okay, so then you want to work down to the nose. And make a mouth. And this is all as simple or as complex you want to make it. Okay, so let's work with the next set of eyes. Oh, and I know I'm having some bleed through on my paper, so I'm going to get a little protector paper to put underneath so that I don't bleed all the way through. All right, so let's see, what's the next eyes I'm going to do? And my suggestion is to you is to take a look at some cartoon eyes, nose, and mouth before you decide what you want your facial features to be. And I'm going to include some in this video so that you can see some examples. I'm going to give this guy some teeth, and maybe not completely attractive teeth, which is okay because he's a cartoon. He or she. Okay, now I'm going to do the inner one. I think this guy's going to be maybe what we would call shocked. And what you might want to do to make sure that you don't go below your line is put a ruler there just as a little barrier so you don't go below that line. This is going to be, I think I'm going to call this my shocked person. And he's going to have very shocked eyebrows. And some little exclamation type marks to the side here. Let's color those in. And so my nose is going to be a very simple, cartoony nose. And my mouth so now we have all these different expressions that we can change. And I'm sure some of you are going to be way more creative than I and add some additions to these faces that maybe I wouldn't have thought of. So now what you can do is you can go in and color the backgrounds of these faces if you wish. Let me show you one that I already had started and completed. So here I did different colors using colored pencil behind each one of my facial features so that I could make a vastly different face every time. Really fun, interactive project here. I also thought that you could do some more in-depth, less cartoon-like facial features. So you could draw the eyes a little bit more like they naturally look like on a human with different expressions. You could do some different noses, a full nose, a pointy nose. You could add a beauty mark, many different kinds of lips, So really, if you do a little bit of research on facial expressions, you can see I added makeup on them too. You'll get quite a variety. Now, you could also do animals. Now you're going to have to really research what kind of animals, because if you do a bird, basically with a bird, all you have is eyes and a beak. So you'd have to do 2 sections instead of 3. But you could do things like a cat, a dog, a panda, a bear, a lion, a zebra, a monkey, because all of those things have eyes, nose, and mouth. One little tip I want to give you is if you're going to color behind your facial features or around your facial features, you're going to want what I call a cover sheet or a protector sheet, so that you don't get color in places you don't want it to be. So what I'm doing is sliding it behind the front ones. I'm going to do the front ones first, and then when I flip, because I'm going to do 3 different colors here, when I flip, I'm not going to get it on the face below it. Here's my finished result from the one that I colored in on time lapse, all sped up. So I wanted to show it to you a little bit slower so that you could see what I did with it. And this down here is a tongue, but you can see it makes it so much more interesting if you can change the facial features on this. Here's the animal one that I finished. I did a panda bear on the front, a lion, and a pig. So you can see it makes it drastically different if you change what you've got there. Kind of a fun project for all ages. Even the youngest ones can do this with a little bit of help.